It was a bitterly cold morning in New York City when the chauffeur-driven black car pulled into the school parking lot. Inside sat one of the city's most powerful men, Jonathan Pierce, a 45-year-old CEO known for building his billion-dollar tech empire from scratch. His world was governed by numbers, meetings, and deadlines. But on this day, it was not business that unsettled him. It was a single question from his 7-year-old daughter, Emma. She had tugged at his sleeve just before stepping out of the car. Her small voice trembled with sincerity. "Daddy, can she come to my birthday?" The question seemed simple, but the child she spoke of was not like the others. Her name was Lily. She was the quiet girl who always sat alone in the cafeteria, her shoes worn, her backpack torn. Teachers whispered that she lived with her grandmother after her parents abandoned her. She never brought lunch, only stared at the food others ate. For most children, she was invisible. But to Emma, she was not. Jonathan had built his empire on data. Yet here was a situation that numbers could not explain. The request forced him to pause. He had planned a grand celebration. Balloons, entertainers, a guest list filled with the children of other CEOs, lawyers, and politicians. The event would reflect status. Appearances mattered. But Emma's innocent plea clashed with that image. Jonathan hesitated. In his world, invitations were transactions. But this was different. This was his daughter asking for kindness. The story of what happened next became one of those rare moments where wealth and power collided with humility and truth. 2. The following week, preparations for the birthday were underway. A luxury hotel ballroom had been booked. The cost exceeded what most families earned in a year. Staff moved like clockwork, arranging decorations and desserts imported from Europe. Jonathan's assistant handed him spreadsheets detailing guest arrivals. Yet in the midst of all the planning, Emma reminded him again, "Daddy, please don't forget Lily." It was no longer a request, it was a plea. Jonathan agreed, reluctantly. He instructed his driver to deliver a simple invitation card to Lily's grandmother's apartment. The building stood in a neighborhood far removed from luxury. Its walls were cracked, and its stairwells smelled of dampness and age. The grandmother, frail but proud, received the envelope with trembling hands. Inside, the golden invitation glittered under the dim light of their small room. For Lily, it was the first time she had ever been invited anywhere. But attending meant more than just showing up. She had no dress to wear, no shoes that looked decent. The grandmother spent her last savings at a thrift shop, finding a faded white dress that was slightly too big, but still clean. She polished Lily's old shoes until they shone as best as they could. The day of the birthday arrived. Cameras flashed as limousines lined up outside the hotel. Children in designer outfits spilled out, laughing. Parents exchanged business cards and compliments. The air smelled of wealth, of excess, of people living far above the ordinary struggles of life. And then Lily walked in. Her entrance was quiet, almost unnoticed at first. Her thrift store dress looked out of place among glittering gowns. Some parents frowned. A few children pointed and whispered. But Emma rushed forward, her smile brighter than all the chandeliers in the room. She held Lily's hand tightly, introducing her as if she were the most important guest of all. For a moment, Jonathan watched in silence. He saw the way his daughter's joy multiplied simply by having Lily there. Yet he also noticed the discomfort in the room, the sideways glances, the murmurs about inviting strangers. His world was built on reputation, and reputation was fragile. Then came the turning point. As the cake was rolled in, taller than most children and decorated with sparklers, the guests gathered around. The music played. The candles flickered. But when the slices were served, Jonathan noticed Lily hesitate. She held the plate, staring at the piece of cake as if it were a treasure. Instead of eating it, she carefully wrapped it in a napkin. Jonathan approached her, his voice low, his eyes questioning. "Why aren't you eating?" Lily looked up timidly. "It's for my grandma. She hasn't had cake in years." The room fell silent around them. Conversation stopped. Even the clinking of glasses seemed to fade. In that instant, the CEO who controlled millions felt powerless against the weight of a child's sacrifice. Emma, too young to fully grasp the depth, hugged her friend proudly. But Jonathan felt something deeper: shame, guilt, and a strange awakening. His wealth could buy towers, jets, and influence. But here was a little girl who valued a slice of cake more than any deal he had ever made. What happened after the party was no less extraordinary. Jonathan could have dismissed the incident, returned to his empire, and let the memory fade. But something inside refused to let go. The image of Lily saving cake for her grandmother haunted him. He began asking questions about her life. What he learned unsettled him further. Her parents had abandoned her years earlier. The grandmother, living on a small pension, struggled to provide. Their apartment had broken heating. Winter nights were unbearable. School supplies were often donated by teachers. Yet despite the hardship, Lily never complained. She simply endured. Jonathan, for the first time in decades, visited a neighborhood he would normally pass without notice. He saw cracked sidewalks, dim hallways, families trying to survive on hope alone. He stood there, a man with wealth beyond imagination, realizing how little he truly understood about struggle. Emma's innocent request had opened a door he never knew existed. The days turned into weeks, and Jonathan found himself involved in ways he had never planned. He arranged for new heating to be installed in the grandmother's apartment, quietly, without publicity. He ordered boxes of groceries to be delivered each month. But most importantly, he began to spend time with them. For Emma, it meant playdates filled with laughter. For Lily, it meant having someone who noticed her, who cared, who believed she deserved more than survival. For Jonathan, it was a lesson that power was meaningless if it did not serve humanity. Not everyone understood. Some of his business associates questioned his choices. They warned him against mixing personal life with unnecessary charity. But Jonathan no longer listened. He had seen too much to go back. At the next school event, when Emma and Lily stood together on stage, Jonathan clapped the loudest. When other parents whispered, he stood taller. He realized true reputation was not built on appearances, but on values. The transformation reached its peak a year later. On Emma's next birthday, she didn't ask for a ballroom, entertainers, or imported cakes. She asked for something else. She wanted the party in the park, with games and food where every child, rich or poor, could join. Jonathan agreed without hesitation. That day, dozens of children came. Some wore designer clothes. Others wore hand-me-downs. But for the first time, they played side by side, their laughter echoing across the open field. And in the center stood Jonathan, a CEO who had once measured success in dollars, now measuring it in smiles. He had discovered something his empire could never give him: the power of kindness. Emma's innocent question had changed everything. "Daddy, can she come to my birthday?" It was more than a child's plea. It was a doorway to truth, a reminder that wealth means nothing if it cannot bridge the gap between privilege and struggle. The story of Jonathan, Emma, and Lily spread quietly, told not in headlines, but in whispered admiration by those who witnessed it. It became proof that sometimes the greatest transformations begin not with boardroom decisions, but with the honesty of a child's heart. Before we close this story, we would love to hear your thoughts. What would you have done if you were in Jonathan's place? Share your reflections in the comments below. In the end, Jonathan Pierce realized something he had never learned in business school. Empires rise and fall, fortunes come and go. But the impact of a single act of compassion, the kind sparked by a daughter's innocent question, can outlast them all. Because sometimes, the most powerful deals are not signed on paper, but written on the human heart.